What's up, all my power ass crew? Do you happen to have a rust hole in your frame? If so, I'm gonna show you how to patch it. Let's go. So I'm out here welding the back half or stretch on the back end of the rust bucket here, and you see the 14 bolt that's gonna be going under this really soon. But then I discovered this. This is where your shocks mount at. Now it kind of sets like this right here. Now, as you can see, we got an open hole right here. So any kind of mud, rocks, junk, or crusty rust that just keeps falling into it, well, it just can't go anywhere. Because as you can see from the grind marks right here, that goes all the way down like that. It's like one big pocket. So it holds all that junk and it rusts them out. This is a very common rust issue for the YJs. Now I do realize all over eBay, Amazon, all those different online retailers that you can buy a kit that pretty much overlays the rust. Kind of like what I was going to do to begin with. I was going to throw a 3/16 plate over that sucker and just brace at the back end of it so I can beat the heck out of it on the rocks and not have to worry about it. If you just got one little small hole, there's no need of buying all those kits to do all that stuff. So if you happen to have a piece of scrap metal laying around, this is how you do it. This is right there's the line where I welded this tubing onto the factory frame. This actually goes up inside that, and it's plug welded, and then of course seam welded all the way around it. But what you do after that, you put on what you call fish plates. The fish plates is nothing more than bracing plates that goes along through here that covers the seam before you weld it together. But I'm going to put them up top here, here, and I'm going to put some on this side. But whenever you do fish plates, you need the perimeter weld or go around the edge of the weld. Then you also need plug welds, or rosettes, some people call them. So with that being said, I thought, since I gotta get creative, I cut that one out into flames and stuff. So I'll fill weld this right here and leave the weld kind of showing, so to speak. Therefore you'll have those little flame teardrops or whatever crap you call them things. Pretty cool, huh? But that's a video coming up later. So I got me a piece of scrap plate here. Yes, I know it's not square, but as long as you can draw a straight line and cut a straight line, it'll be okay. So just relax. Take that plate, and I'm going to trace around it, and I'm not going to necessarily cut on the actual marker or lines I trace. So there's our lines, and best I could tell whenever I was, cleaning up all this right here, grinding it, getting ready to put my fish plates in, that actually it's pretty solid down here and there. Right here's my only really thin spot. But in order for me to determine that, I want to cut this section out, look inside the frame, say yes, no, do I need to do more bracing, whatever. But while I'm at it, put a new piece of metal in. So, as I said a moment ago, I'm not going to cut on the actual line. I'm going to do what you call creep up on your cut. I'm going to start on the inside of the line, right along it here, and go around it. And little by little, I keep feathering the metal outward until this plate fits in there just perfectly right along the edge. Now, if it were two pieces of metal that are identical thickness, you put your plate in like that, or a piece of metal, and bring your cutter blade at an angle like that right there. That makes your curve set crooked, and you can bring it in, you'll have a good line for it to weld into. But a thick plate, thin plate, doesn't work quite as well that way. So that being said, cut that out. Put on my safety glasses. You know what? Those blades are absolutely awesome. They last a very long time, but they got one drawback to them. They work so well because they're made out of steel with an abrasive edge that if it snags just right, they will kick back. So I'm wearing some gloves. Be right back. Okay, so these might be a little bit overkill, but hey, first thing I grabbed, and I'll be using them in a minute welding anyway, so might as well get them on out. They're pretty comfortable. Big old rascal. See how long they are? Alright, here's the deal. I'm going to go this way, I'm going to go that way, and I'm going to be up in the camera anyway. So I'm going to get this cut out, and I'll be back with you. So we'll take it for a test fit and see where we're at. So we need to do a little bit more trimming, and that's why, you know, if you take a creep up on your cut, I mean, you keep shaving it outward little by little till you get the width and down till you get the height and everything, you get a good tight fit, and it makes your weld a lot easier. So I'm gonna keep finessing this open, and I'll be back with you in a little bit. Ta-da! So for right now, I'm just going to pop it out. We're going to do some inspecting. And oh. Right there where that weld was, it's got a little thin area right here. Because your welds come up right there, and that stuff pockets in right there, all that junk. So I got a little bit thin area right there, but it's nothing really critical. And there's a wasp nest about right there, but it's empty. There's nobody home. If there was somebody home in that wasp nest, I'd known it by now. And I can see the holes right here and there. I've got a lot of, you know, frame thickness right there. So that one area right there on both sides, honestly, for the shock, where it was collecting all that junk, is your only thin spots. That little pocket right there. But one thing you need to do before you start burning your plate in, you need to chamfer, or this edge all the way around through here needs to be at an angle like this. Because you can see from my plate, I've already done it to the plate. Now I need to do it to the frame, because what that's going to do is it's going to form a V all the way around the edge, and you'll feel that V with your weld. Another cool thing about these blades is the side right here. You can kind of use that as a grinder too. What's up, Denton? My buddy Denton, who's also a classmate when we graduated, he drives a bus now, so every time he comes down front of the house, beep beep. The kids are probably thinking, who's that? What's he beeping for? So probably what we're going to do is lay the magnet across like that, because then the magnet surface has got this here and the plate itself. That way I can tack here, because that'll get it flush. I might have to move it over here and pull it over or something. Because if I go across like that, which is what I'd like to do, I'll have the plate, but I'm not going to have enough of the frame to actually hold it up to the frame. Make sense? Yeah, sure does. So I can get right here in this corner. I'm going to stay off down here because I want it to hinge. So I'm going to stay right here, a little tack there, and a tack right on top of here. And then I can line up this other side. Yeah. Now I've got my ground hooked up over there. see if we get this side to flush out now. Okay, this bottom corner right here is flushed out. So now, tack weld that in. Now I'll try to bump its top in. It's running a little far outward. See that right there? That on the back of your helmet helps a lot, because what it does, it blocks the light from coming in from the back side of your helmet. And because the sun's in my back right now, and if I didn't have that little, I don't know, a curtain or drape, or I don't know what you call that thing, on the back of that, it just, I can't see. So, and while I had it, I put my logo on it. Cool. And I tell you, it makes a world of difference, because I can actually see my doggone lines right now. And that right there set outward some, so I need to pop it in some. Oh yeah, it's moving now. What it was doing is, I was hitting it but springing right back out because it's under tension. There we go. And right now it's pushed in just a little too much. So I'll take my clamp, loosen my clamp a little bit. Too much. Tighten it up just a smidge. There it is. There we go. Now I want to tack that in. I move my clamp out of the way. And burn it baby in. Yes. Alright. Move my clamp out of the way and I'll burn it in. So it drives the camera nuts, and I don't have one of those fancy filters to shoot through and all that stuff, so I'm just going to burn this in. I'll be back with you in a bit. Well, I've got the two vertical ups run, and I kind of probably should have left the camera running, because what you got is a thinner metal, thick metal thing here. Well, I shoot this right here. I started out like this, and I heard that hollow sound. That meant I went through the frame right there. So I moved my wire this way, shoot my wire into the plate, and help blend the heat, more favoring this and bringing this over into it, if that makes any sense at all. It's one of those things you really got to get a lot of time in to figure out. I started running that beat like, hey, wait a minute, you guys can hear this one. My camera's about to go to kaput, so I'm not sure where it's going to die out at, but we're about to find out. You hear that little hollow sound? I was really on the edge of blowing through. That is a dip in the metal on the front part. Fill it in. There we go. Oh, come on, dang it. That. There we go. Now dress up my welds and see how crappy my weld looks. Yeah, I know. That grinder's making me the welder that I ain't. I got carried away when he smoothed it out because I got stuff to do, people. So, I did have a little pop mark right there. You can see the little hole right there. I'm not going to worry about it. I had a little bit of undercut through here because where it was blowing through and I was moving my heat, my wire around. So, I ended up running another bead up on the plate here just because I was being picky. Smoothed that out. Now, this little slot right here, you cut it out. And take a piece of scrap metal, put it in just like I did right here. By putting the bigger plate in, you see how to do it. Same thing, just go ahead and notch that back a little bit, put your piece of metal in, weld it up, and you're good to go. So honestly, that was a pretty decent tutorial about how to patch a bad spot in your frame. Now, if you've got a lot of rot or rust going throughout your frame, honestly, you're better off just buying another frame. But for what people want for frames, you're almost better off buying another Jeep. Overall, this frame right here is in pretty good shape, considering what the frame that came out of this rig. So shout out to Jeremy for giving me this frame to work with. I can actually make a rust bucket solid enough to get out and have a good time at wheel without spending a doggone fortune fixing places all over the old frame. It's laying on the trailer now. I done chopped it up. So everyone, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, leave some cool comments down below. And be sure you do subscribe, because this is rust bucket I'm working on. That right there is a 14-bolt diff. And I've got a Chevy 10-bolt in front, both 8-lug axles. Both of them come out with Chevrolet K20. But I'm going Friday or Saturday to pick up a different front axle for this. It's cool. It's awesome. So y'all be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos as I build this tank. Peace out. Later, y'all.